Hello, today we're gonna make a medieval diorama including a village house, a bunch of minifigures, and some really nice techniques. Let's get to building. So we start by making the outline of this build using the snot technique, so the usual stuff. But let me give you a little bit of the backstory to this build. So a landlord with his family owns a small farm on the outskirts of the country. And one day, one of his older sons decides to venture out into a distant city in search of something that could improve the quality of life of his family. Now, he doesn't return until weeks have passed, but when he finally does, the surprise and relief in that moment is what I'm trying to capture in this MOC. Got it? Okay. So now back to the building process. I'm struggling here quite a bit with the making of this boulder, and I had to remove a lot of the footage because it was just chaotic trial and error, because apparently making boulders is too far beyond my capabilities. But the final product, I think, looks pretty good. And now I move on to the finishing this part of the grass and starting the dirt path in the middle of the build. After finishing the ground for this MOC, we move on to the next step, which is building the village house. So I start here by placing some wooden pillars and making the stone foundation at the bottom. And I tried to use various plates, tiles and slopes to make it as interesting as possible. Then I added a window where instead of a regular glass pane, there are cheese slopes stacked sideways. And when I first saw this design, I was so surprised that you could fit so perfectly these pieces inside of the window frame, and it makes up for just a really unique looking window. And this is what I love about Lego, that seemingly unrelated pieces can go together very well. But okay, right now I'm finishing the second wall, for which I'll use the snot technique to really make it look like the wall is made out of wooden planks. And then I move on to the door, which I've made out of sideways plates in dark brown. Next, I'm placing some supporting bricks for the roof of the house, and to not leave the side wall empty, I added a chain for decoration. Now I add the roof, which is made of the same technique as are the wooden planks below, and at the top I add a wooden beam that's supporting the roof, and that's the finished house. Next, I'll add some smaller details on the ground. So first up are gonna be some steps leading up to the front door, then a barrel with some fish in it, and an animal pen with pigs inside. Next up, I'm adding the trees, and the inside looks very chaotic, but from the outside you don't see anything, so that's good. And then we place the second tree and finish it off by placing some more foliage and greenery on the ground. And finally, the part everyone's been waiting for, which are the minifigures. So we have a farmer, 2 chickens, the father and his younger son, and then the returning sibling. One last thing I decided to add here was a black frame or base for everything to look nice and clean. And with that, the build is finished, and here are the results.